Hello, my name is Dr. Vary Towler, and this is the second of 4 short webinars developed at the University of Dundee with a perspective on being an enterprising researcher. The first webinar was about having ideas and about the importance of keeping yourself in a divergent thinking space and generating new ideas. This webinar is about starting to bring those ideas into more of a convergent space and starting to think, yes, I have an idea, but how can I take it forward and what am I going to do with that idea next? So the things I'm going to talk about in this webinar are about convergent thinking and about how we take ideas forward. I'm going to look at 3 areas. One is about researching your idea. The second is about who the people are that you talk to about your idea. And the third thing is around how you develop your idea in the company of people in a wider network. So the first thing you will need to do is research your idea. Maybe there are lots of possibilities around your idea at this stage, and maybe it's quite a broad idea, or there's a kernel of an idea that you want to develop further. The first thing that you probably need to do at this stage in terms of developing it is do some research around your idea development. The things that you might need to think about as far as developing your idea and researching it will utilise your skills as a researcher. This research will help you determine if your idea is unique. Firstly, has anyone else had that idea previously? A web search and literature search can be carried out to help you ascertain whether your idea is a unique one. Does it have the possibility to become a unique idea, or is it something that fits with a current trend or fits with a current need, or fits the way in which your own research area is developing? How you might research this is the same way that you'd go about looking at your own research as a starting point. The second thing that you might start to do is think about who else would be interested and who else can you develop that conversation with. Who is interested in the idea that you have and who is interested in the next stage of it? So who might be interested in funding that idea? So those are all things that you can do from sitting at your desk and researching in the same way that you would think about any idea that you'd had previously from your research. So before you start to go and talk to people about this and start to develop it in conversation with other people, one of the things that you want to get to at this stage is that you have a well-developed idea, but you've still got quite a lot of flexibility for that idea at this point. One of the things that you'll end up doing in conversation with other people is both taking on board their perspectives on your idea and maybe fleshing out your idea with some of their thoughts. So the first stage is to have your idea well researched, to be able to take on board their ideas and to be able to defend that part of your idea or be able to see the links that you can make with other people because of it. So the first point, research your idea and get it to a stage where you know and are confident that your idea is well-rounded. The second part of developing your idea, which is very well encapsulated by the phrase that Suzanne Doyle Morris and her book Beyond the Boys Clubs talks about, is to socialise your idea. So to take your idea and take it round several different people to be able to test out whether or not this is a fully rounded idea. And in fact, when you get their input into your idea, if it actually is something that you need other people to be involved in. However, you do need to be careful here that you protect any intellectual property associated with your idea so that the idea is not stolen. So have a think about the intellectual property that you're creating as far as your idea is concerned, and have a chat to your business development manager within your department and make sure you're talking to them first before taking your idea to a wider audience to protect your intellectual property that is part of your idea. And certainly as far as commercialisation is concerned, they're the people that need to be the first port of call rather than a wider audience. For those of you who are taking an idea which doesn't rely upon that protection of intellectual property, then start to think about who your audiences are. Who can help you develop that idea and who can help you build it and perhaps help you make the right contacts and connections outside your immediate circle of people. So who would help you develop your idea from its initial stages? For any ideas that I develop, the first person I need most at the start of the project is somebody who's enthusiastic about my ideas, which is usually my mum or one of my sisters. So who is your enthusiast? Who is the person who says, yes, you can do that. Yes, that's a really good idea. And yes, you can. Yes, and this might happen. Oh, yes, and I'm really enthusiastic about this. And I'm helping you to build your confidence in the idea because I think it's a good idea when you tell me about it. So the first person you need in your circle is somebody to be your enthusiast, somebody who's enthusiastic about the ideas that you come up with. The second person that you might want to have a chat with is someone with whom you can be creative. Somebody who gives you a lot of energy for your ideas and who says, yes, oh, you might be able to do this or that, and yes, have you thought about this? So somebody, in fact, that will help you build and develop your idea and give it some validity and help you flesh out your idea because they're creative and perhaps look at it from a different perspective than you do. Perhaps they see the bigger picture of your idea, or conversely can help you have a more detailed view. And having a chat with a creative person really fuels me to be creative with my ideas and mould them into something more solid. The third person I think you need in your group of supporters and idea developers is somebody who will give you wise words, wisdom that can perhaps occasionally pour cold water on your ideas, but will almost always look at it from the point of view of a wider market, a wider picture, or a wider research perspective. So they will perhaps be somebody who's much more experienced than you, and they will be somebody who probably has a lot of expertise in your area. The chances are that you won't get as much time to speak face to face with them or even over the telephone with them as you will with your enthusiast or with your creative idea developer, but somebody with whom you can discuss the idea, possibly when your idea is more fully developed. With this person, you're not asking them to brainstorm or for their creativity, but you've got your idea ready for their feedback and sage advice. The other people who are very, very helpful in an idea development stage are people that I would call critical friends. So I think the important part here is that they are friends. They may be friends from work or outside of work friends, but ultimately the word friend, meaning that they've got your interests at heart. As far as idea development is concerned, however, the second most important word here is critical, because these are the people who feel that they can ask you questions and will push you in terms of your idea to make you feel that in fact that it's got some validity, because they can often come from different backgrounds and will ask you questions not from your perspective, which can often feel quite critical and often are quite critical, but they're doing that in a way that helps you both test out the robustness of your ideas. These friends will help you to understand how well you're defending your ideas, because actually, if they're quite critical friends, anybody who is going to put money into your idea will probably be looking at it from a critical and analytical point of view, but not necessarily from the friend point of view. So they're a very useful group of people to have as part of that idea development. So just to summarise this point, when you start to socialise your idea, there are a number of different people that you'd want as part of that process. To recap that, your enthusiast, the person who is behind you and encouraging you all the way, the creative person with whom you have great ideas and work with well to develop your ideas further, and the third person, the one who gives you the wisdom and the sage advice to be able to put your idea in context, probably at quite a late stage in your idea development, but somebody who gives you advice from an experienced point of view. And finally, the person or the people who are your critical friends, those who you can trust and who have your interests at heart, but can ask you those probing questions and help you to develop the robustness of your idea and how it sticks together. The third thing to think about is that your idea will most certainly need some money behind it to get started and to take it to market if it's a commercial idea. So at that stage, you want to start to talk to other people about whether there's a marketplace or an interest in that area of research or that particular product. So you're probably wanting to speak to people wider in your field and thinking about the skills that your idea might need to take it into development, and the skills that perhaps you have and those that you don't have. Identifying these will let you determine if you need to bring other people into either your research team or into a commercial operation to bring in their level of expertise. You might not know them yet, so we're talking here about the wider idea development. Once you have a well-developed idea, thinking about how you develop that and how you reach out to other people to bring them into the idea. Again, one of the things that you need to be thinking about very closely here is around how this is done from a commercial spin-out point of view. Perhaps it's other people that should be talking to a wider audience on your behalf and seeking out the people who can help you. Again, a conversation with the Research and Innovation Services team and their business managers within the university should be able to help you before you get to that stage and help you make those contacts if that's required as part of your idea development. For those of you who are not working in that environment, thinking about how you find those wider people in your network, it might be about asking the right questions and about asking people that you know already how you can develop your ideas and who are the best people to speak to about developing those ideas. So thinking about how your network can provide the connections to develop your idea, and maybe that's at a conference or using social media like Twitter and LinkedIn. Maybe you're talking to different bodies outside the university as part of your work anyway, and you get the opportunity to meet people from a different background. Or maybe you're asking your existing network of contacts to put you in touch with somebody to develop that idea further. To summarise this webinar, I think it's an iterative process around researching your idea, potentially socialising the next stages of it, and then thinking about how those people in your network can help you. And of course, part of that is being part of a network and thinking about how you can seek help from other people as part of that. These are the summary points for this webinar on turning your idea into something more tangible, which leads on to the next webinar where we talk about finding funding for your idea and talking about money in relation to your idea. Thank you.